Hello and welcome back to Aubrey Books and Coffee. Please grab your favorite beverage of choice. In this case, it's going to be a soda from McDonald's because that is my crack. I absolutely love the soda from McDonald's. And join me. And so for this week, of course, we're going to be doing some more of those Apollycon authors and reading from them. And I'm so excited because Apollycon's coming, you guys. April's coming really, really fast. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to meet Kim in person. So make sure you check out Whimsical Narratives. She is fabulous. And I'm excited to meet these authors. And so I need to read these books to see if I'm going to be forking over that kind of money for really nice editions of these books to then sit on my shelves and have signatures inside of them. So without further ado, the three that I'm going to be focusing on this week is The Ever Queen, which of course is the sequel to The Ever King. And I know I already love the writing style here, but in case there's a really beautiful duology available, I need to make sure I grab that. And then also To Kill a Shadow, and last but not least, Lady of Darkness. I have been hearing Lady of Darkness all over the booktube sphere, so I'm excited to pick this one up. And To Kill a Shadow is a YA, so let's see how this week goes. Oh my gosh. I'm 50 pages in. And something just happened. I'm heartbroken. I'm really sad. I am in a public place trying not to cry. I am now 25% in and I am disgusted. No, it's really good. I'm irritated. I can't even say who I'm irritated at because it would be a spoiler for the first book. But let's just say there was a betrayal and I'm disgusted with the person that caused the betrayal and the lengths that this person is going to try to destroy Eric and to destroy Livia. And in particular, their relationship, their bond is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And there was something that was happening that got me so excited and like cheering, and then something happened that just dangled, like a cat toy, dangled the hope and then ripped it away. And dang it, L.J. Andrews, I don't appreciate that. So my heart still hurts. I am now halfway. I'm happy. A lot has happened, and there's a lot more politics in this one than what was in the first one in The Ever King. So there's times where it's really kind of slow, and for me a little more boring because I'm more into the romance than I am the politics. But that being said, it is so good. It is so good. I'm wondering, since we're halfway, if we're not going to get a war. I am 75% into Ever Queen. I'm almost to the end. There's just a lot of politics in this one. I still love the relationship between Livia and Eric, and I love that we get to see more of Livia's family and friends from back when she was on the Earth Fae realm. I love seeing her parents and their interactions with Eric and stuff, but it's kind of boring. I hate to say that. Oh, I hate to say that because the writing isn't bad. It's just so much with the politics that I'm kind of bored. So I'm hoping it wraps up better and wraps up pretty darn quick, because at 75%, we're just still setting the chessboard. We're not actually doing anything, and it's just, it's got me bored. I finished it. It did get better once the war starts, and and the battle and stuff, it's better. And then the ending is just as sweet and wonderful as you want it to be. And it gives you like a couple pages at the very end that hint at what book 3 is going to be. It won't be their story. Their story is done. But people you got to know in this book, it continues a story with them. And I have to admit, even though it got so boring there for a while, I do think I'll pick up The Mist Thief. I do think I will go ahead and read the next duology that's set with new characters that we saw in the background here, because I'm intrigued with how that went down. I'm intrigued enough, and I care enough about those characters that I want to see what happens. So I'll be picking that up. I give this one a 4 stars. Everking was definitely a 5-star for me. The banter and everything was just everything for me. This, up until the halfway point, was that same vibes, and then it just got deep in the weeds for me. Not my favorite. If you really love politics and setting the stage for things like that, and moving chess pieces, then this will be your bread and butter. You'll like this better than the Everking. If you're more into the relationships and the banter and the, fights, instant fights and stuff, then I think you'll like the Everking better. But regardless, I'm going to get some beautiful editions of these because these are now going to live on my shelves. So I'm about 25% into To Kill a Shadow, and it feels very young. It does. It's YA, but it does feel very young. It's fantasy. You've got Kiera, who for some reason wears gloves and won't let anybody see her hands outside of wearing those gloves, and won't let anybody touch her. And she's got kind of a strong heart, wanting to help her fellow knights that are in training and are going through these different tests and stuff to see if they're worthy of being called the King's Knights. And then you've got Jude, who's kind of in charge of their training and, to see who's going to make a good knight. And he's kind of got a thing for Kiara, and she, is attracted to him and stuff. But I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Right now, I just feel like it feels very, it's going to sound horrible, but like cookie cutter for this kind of trope. It just doesn't feel like there's anything really grabbing me, I guess. So it's not a bad story. It's not badly written, anything like that. It's just not really grabbing me. It's kind of like just, nah. But again, it's only 25% into it. So obviously I'm going to continue it and we'll see how it goes. I'm now 50% into To Kill a Shadow, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm bored. It's a really cool premise. It's very young, very cinnamon rolly, which I am kind of a cinnamon roll girl normally, but you're talking about these characters going to a very spooky wooded area and being surrounded by the mists and these evil creatures that come out, and they need to survive. And they're all just very goody two-shoey. And I'm like, I'm not buying it. Like, if you're going in there, you need to be stabby if you're going to come back out. And their romance just feels like it's supposed to happen because it's written on the page. It doesn't feel natural. I'm just not vibing with this. It just feels kind of boring and vanilla to me and cookie cuttery. And really hoping the last 50% is better. I'm now 75% into it, and just want it over. We've had some fights in the mists, some monsters that we've come across, and the main character had to kill for the first time, and what probably should have been a touching scene between her and Jude was just kind of felt cringy and forced. And then the next morning he's like, let's just pretend, we never talked. And she's like, yeah, totally. It makes sense. It just is so, I don't know. I'm just really not vibing with this one at all. All right, so I finally finished. And hey, this gorgeous edition will be available to you guys because I am giving it a 2-star. I am sorry to say that. It didn't get any better. In fact, it got worse for me. And I hate to say that because it's not like there was any one particular issue. It's just overall, the characters weren't grabbing me. I didn't care what happened to them. I didn't believe the insta-love. I didn't feel like they were ever really in any kind of danger. The epilogue was very, what? Which I get it, I guess, because it's going to be a series, and so they're trying to set stuff up for the next book, but I'm not continuing it. This was a slog to get through, and if it hadn't been for this vlog, I wouldn't have. Honestly, probably would have DNF'd it, so yeah, just not a win for me. Sorry. Let's do another roll. Hopefully it'll be better. I'm currently about 36% into Lady of Darkness by Melissa. I'm not going to pronounce it right. This is an Apollycon author, so I want to make sure to get to this and read it. And I've heard a lot of really good things about it. So far, we're following Scarlet and her sisters, and essentially they've been tortured and trained into becoming a trio of assassins that are the most feared everywhere. Like, they have nicknames that they, go by, hence, Lady of Darkness. And whenever people hear even just the nicknames, it just brings absolute terror and fear onto their face. So they've got a reputation. And essentially, Scarlet makes a deal with the devil, if you will, where if she does certain jobs for him, he will eventually help her to get the information she needs to hunt down the Fey Prince that murdered their mother. And so she's agreed to it. And this is all on the back, so it's not spoiling anything. At 36%, we have met a stranger who's training with her. And of course, there's going to be kind of some barring and banter. And Scarlett's got some strange nightmares that she has from time to time. And she's got an interesting friendship with another guy. And this stranger seems to be more than, of course, what he initially presents himself to be. It's interesting. I'm wondering where they're going with this, because this is like book one. So I know they're not going to give us all the answers right away. I'm interested. I'm not pulled in. I'm not in love, but I'm interested. I am now 50% into Lady of Darkness, and it is taking a turn. I think I know where this is going. I think I know what's being set up here. And I'm intrigued, but they're also kind of losing me a little bit. Like, with it being halfway, I expected more. So for it to only just now be hinting at things makes me worry that the author's really kind of dragging it on to go to book 2 and 3 and so on. So I need more. I need more banter. I need more between them. I need more answers to make me want to continue in the series. Otherwise, this may just be a 3-star. We'll see. All right, so I'm driving to the competition since 5 a.m. I am so flipping tired. It's gonna be a long day, but I am 75% into Lady of Darkness, and I'm so disappointed. The writing is good, it really is, but this book is just way longer than it needed to be. It was feeling like a 4-star. I was really having a good time. And it just is going on and on and on. It feels like more things are being added that honestly could have been an entirely different book. And it's not a standalone. Like, this is a series. So why? Why are we doing 50 extra things? So now I just kind of want it to be over. And it went quickly from a potential 5 to a 4 to now a 3-star. So we'll see. Pardon the fact that I look like a complete mess. That kitten is like not letting us sleep like at all. I'm lucky if I get 5 hours a night, and I'm just so freaking tired. Whew. Anyway, so ignore this and just listen. I finished it. There's a lot of really good stuff in here, and the writing style is really easy to follow. Audiobook is done decently. Nothing really negative to say. It's getting a 3-star for me, and I'm not going to sweat getting a beautiful edition at Apollycon because this is the first book in a series, and it was just too long. It's over 500 pages. It could have been a whole lot shorter. I think too much was packed in. There were too many times of the main character being in some kind of distress again and again and again. And it's like, how many times in one episode are you planning on having the damsel in distress? So it just felt like too many times. It felt like too much going on when you're going to have another 2 or 3 books after this. So it just felt like too much for the first one. And I don't know if it gets better as it goes on, but I've heard the opposite. So I'm probably just going to stop here and not worry about picking up the next one in the series and just letting it be. But I wasn't miserable. I cannot say that enough. I was not bored. I wasn't miserable. It was just too much. It was just a little too much for me. All right, so that wraps up this week. So we had some wins and we had some misses. Which, if you watched any of my Spooktober, weekly vlogs, you kind of knew what was coming with To Kill a Shadow. But it's still an Apollycon author, so I wanted to make sure to include it in these videos in case you don't look at my other vlogs and you're just watching for Apollycon to see if you are maybe interested in these authors. I wanted to make sure to include it as well. But oh my goodness, had such a good time with Katie's trip on doing her, speech and debate. She did so well, so proud of all of those kids, and had such a good time judging, exhausting though it was. And unfortunately did not find a new love. Maybe next week. Well, thanks again for being here. Please like, subscribe, send your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.